What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. It has been about 5 days since I came to you guys with any Steeler videos. I cut 3 last week. YouTube gave me a couple issues. I got really busy, but you guys got a bunch of Steeler stuff right before free agency gets started. So if you guys want to hear about who I think we should have kept in free agency, who we should have gone after, who could have been cap casualties, what positions we should go for in the draft, who Pittsburgh had already cut before free agency. All those videos are on my channel in the last 2 to 3 weeks. There's a ton of them on there. But if you guys want new content, we are now in the free agency period. We are just finishing up day 3, which is Thursday. Well, I guess technically we're in day 2 right now, being Thursday. So legal tampering period started Monday. So all the unofficial deals start getting signed Monday into Tuesday. And then Wednesday was the official start of free agency. And now we're at the end of day 2, Thursday, for free agency. So it's been going on for 4 days, but it's been official for 2 days. And Pittsburgh has been wheeling and dealing. Pittsburgh has got a lot of stuff going on. First and foremost, there's too much content here for just one video. I'm going to be cutting a second one, recording directly after this, uploading in a few days, hopefully, talking about the Diontae Johnson trade. Pittsburgh has traded longtime wide receiver Diontae Johnson to Carolina for cornerback Dante Jackson, not to be confused with Deontay Johnson, Deontay for Dante. And I'll be breaking down all of the positives and negatives of that trade and the pick swap and all the things that went into it in the other video. I'm not going to discuss the trade today. I'm also not going to discuss the free agents maybe that are still necessarily out there right now. What I am going to talk about is all the people that we signed, their stats, their contracts, and the free agents of ours we've re-signed and the ones that have gone elsewhere. So big information-packed video. The big problem with this video is me trying to read my own handwriting here, so it's going to be interesting. But Pittsburgh has been making some moves. I'm going to tell you guys and break them down what they are right now. First one we made was announced Monday and made official on Wednesday. Quarterback Russell Wilson, new what I got to think is a starting quarterback. Russell Wilson, formerly of longtime Seattle fame, last 2 years in Denver. He got signed to a 1-year veteran minimum $1.2 million deal. Denver is going to pay him $39 million to play here next season. And if you're looking at this from a standpoint of veteran leadership and money, it is a no risk, high reward situation. It's a win-win for Pittsburgh, right? You go and get a guy who's played 10 years in the NFL, who's been a highly successful Pro Bowl quarterback, Super Bowl winner, true leader, great stats, cannon for an arm, super fast, veteran mentality, knows how to win, and you get him for $1.2 million while his former team is paying $39 million of that salary. League minimum now. He's under the same contract as Kenny Pickett. This means one of two things. Russell comes in and outplays Kenny Pickett and is our starter, and he's the best quarterback we've had under center in the last 3 years. He is the best thing since Big Ben that Pittsburgh has seen. If he pushes Kenny Pickett and Kenny Pickett winds up beating him out and playing better because of it, then you know what you've got in Kenny Pickett, and you've got a guy that's improving. So either way, you've got an improved quarterback room in Pittsburgh this season. I think Russell Wilson is the better overall quarterback. Let's talk about why. He's played 10 seasons so far and has 9 Pro Bowl years under his belt. 9-time Pro Bowler, 1-time Super Bowl champion, career record of a 115, 72-1. The guy knows how to win. Even with injuries around him, the guy gets it done. Career. For Russell Wilson's career so far, he's got a 64.7 completion percentage, 43,653 yards, 334 touchdowns, and just 106 interceptions. That is a Hall of Fame career. The dude is a beast. The dude is a bona fide star. Even last season, people were saying he's washed and slowing down. He is slowing down compared to what the all-star that he was in Seattle, 9-time Pro Bowler. Of course, as he gets older, he's going to slow down. But even last year in Denver, they started, I think, 1-4, 1-5. He drug them back to like an 8-9 record. Yeah, losing, but he won like 6 out of his last 8 games. Had a resurgence at the end of last year, was looking pretty good with pretty inferior talent. He was throwing to guys like Dulcich, guys like Brandon Johnson, just a bunch of guys you never heard of before, tight ends you never heard of. He didn't have a lot of weapons in Denver, and the ones that he did, Jerry Jeudy, who was always hurt, Cortland Sutton was always hurt, Javonte Williams was always hurt. Russell was playing with almost nobody, and even last season, here are his stats. 66.4 completion percentage, 3,070 yards, 26 touchdowns, just 8 picks. So even the beat-down Russell Wilson with very little weapons was still getting it done. I like this deal. Again, you sign a veteran guy to push your young player for a vet minimum. while the other team gets to pay all that money. I think that is a big win for Pittsburgh. There were not a lot of good QB options out there in free agency that we could realistically afford, and we got this guy for nothing. What a win that is for Pittsburgh. Speaking of wins, I gave you guys my breakdown of the top free agents I want Pittsburgh to go after, and my number one guy on that video, if you want to go back and watch, was Patrick Queen. Guess who's in Pittsburgh? Baltimore Raven, former Raven linebacker Patrick Queen is here in Pittsburgh on a 3-year, $41 million deal. That is $13.5 per year. That's a little bit under what I expected. That's a good sizable chunk of money. That's a good contract. It's our highest so far we've given out for free agents, but $13.5 a year for a guy as good as Patrick Queen, especially these last 2 seasons, he has blown up. Patrick Queen is a do-it-all, smash-mouth Steelers-style guy. We took him not only getting one of the best inside linebackers at one of the biggest spots of need for us, but taking him away from our rival and making Baltimore lose a big impact player at the same time. Another win-win. You get a guy at a good price who's young, who's hungry, who's hitting hard, and again, who's filling a gap that we needed big time on defense. Inside linebackers going through a lot of changes these last 3 years, and we have not had a dominant inside linebacker since Ryan Shazier. We had one good season out of Devin Bush, and that was it. Ever since Ryan Shazier, there's been no big anchor in the middle of this defense that can hit, that is athletic and fast, can cover, and that is Patrick Queen. For $13.5 million, I'm not complaining. I wanted this guy more than anybody else in this whole free agency, and we got him. In the last 4 years he's played in Baltimore, in 4 years, 4 seasons, he's never missed a start, never missed a game, reliable, which is something else that guys like Landon Roberts, Cole Holcomb, Quan Alexander, they all got hurt. We were on our 5th and 6th string inside linebackers last year. Patrick Queen has never missed a start. He's reliable, and that's important. Also, in 4 seasons, 454 tackles, 37 tackles for a loss, 5 forced fumbles, 6 fumble recoveries, 15 pass deflections, 4 interceptions, a touchdown, a pick return for a touchdown, and 13.5 sacks. What does that tell you? The guy pressures the quarterback, the guy sacks the quarterback, the guy is a great tackler, the guy is a hard hitter, he can create turnovers and be around the ball, he's opportunistic, and he can cover the pass. He's probably equal to or just above Cole Holcomb is our best coverage linebacker, which we desperately needed. He's not an elite coverage linebacker, but he's as good, if not better than Holcomb and better than all the other guys by a country mile. Again, explosive, athletic, got size. He's going to do everything. He's going to make the run game, stop the run game for us better. He's going to improve our pass coverage. He's got everything, and now gives us more flexibility as we go after maybe a linebacker in the draft. But more importantly, Cole Holcomb gets healthy with Landon Roberts out there. So Queen and Roberts can be your anchors for now while Holcomb gets healthy and whoever else comes along. So we love this deal for Patrick Queen. The dude's a beast. We also got a new punter. Pittsburgh needed a punter. Presley Harvin was cut, and Pittsburgh got a really good one. I like this guy a lot. We got Cameron Johnston, who has played so far for 6 seasons. He got signed for a 3-year, $9 million deal, so $3 million per year. That might sound like a lot for a punter. People didn't like that number. I think it's pretty solid. It's not, super, super cheap, but I think for the quality of this guy you're getting, I like $3 million for a good punter. We haven't had a steady punter in a couple of years either. He's played 6 years, 3 with Philadelphia, 3 with Houston. He has got a 47.3 career yards per punt average. Only 6.3% of his punts are touchbacks, but 40.9% are inside the 20. So over half his punts in his career almost. Well, not over half, but almost half of the punts in his career are inside the 20. Only 6.3 are touchbacks, 40.9 are inside the 20, and he has got a 42.2 career net average. Really good stats overall. You got to like what you're seeing. Cameron Johnston, veteran, started for a long time, much improved over Presley Harvin. We needed a punter. We got a punter. Big upgrade. I like that one a lot. We also got Deshaun Elliott. We just signed him today, a couple hours ago. That is a former Ravens player. He's played for a couple teams. Safety Deshaun Elliott. He got signed for a 2-year, $6 million deal. That's also $3 million per year. People are quibbling over whether or not this is a good deal. We'll talk about it. He's played so far 5 years. He's been a consistent starter. He played in Baltimore, Detroit, and Miami. He started, for the most part, every time he's been healthy. He's been healthy entirely for 3 seasons, had injuries in 2 seasons. I think it was his 3rd year overall. He missed most of the season. But for 3 of his 5 years, he's been very healthy. He's got a lot of starts in his career. He's got 50 total starts in 5 seasons, so averaging about 10 starts per year for Deshaun Elliott. So far in those 50 starts, he's got 287 tackles, 12 tackles for a loss, 3.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 17 pass deflections, and 3 interceptions in those 50 starts. So he's not the splash safety we were looking for. There's been a lot of safeties out there. We've been talking about big safety free agent year. I think people expected us to get kind of an all-star to go alongside Minkah Fitzpatrick. This one kind of feels a little bit more like a Keanu Neal from last year, or more so I've seen the comparisons to Ryan Clark. This guy's a hitter. He's a Steelers-style player, much like Patrick Queen. He's a physical guy, he's a sure tackler, and he's willing to dive on the pile and dive after guys. And he's picking his gaps and going for it. So he's more of a box safety, where we've kind of been getting a lot of like stopgap guys the last couple of years. Aside from Minkah, we have not had kind of that star since Troy. Deshaun Elliott, I think, is an upgrade over Keanu Neal considering his health. But again, Elliott's had a couple health problems too. Again, when he's out there, decent pass coverage guy, definitely not bad. Maybe a little better than Neal at this point in his career. But I think that it's another guy that you can plug in as your 2/3. So obviously Minkah's your star, and then you have DeMonte KZ and Deshaun Elliott kind of playing the shifty role between 2 and 3. If you do a 3 safety package, you have Elliott kind of in the box, tackling, playing the running heavy teams like Baltimore and Cleveland. And then you have DeMonte KZ kind of coming in for the clear passing downs, being the coverage safety. So it's not a super splash move, but it is a proven NFL starter, a solid career starter who is physical and is going to make our tackling better. He's going to pursue the run game, and he can play the pass a bit. He's not as fancy as some of the other names on here, but it's not a bad deal. 2 years, $3 million per year. It's not a ton of money, and it's a guy who at the very least you can rotate in there as the 2A, 2B starter against those run teams. So good box guy there. So not the flashiest signing. I would give that signing maybe like a B- C+. Whereas Patrick Queen and Russell Wilson, for the value and for the ability, I would give a lot higher. We also re-signed 2 guys. We re-signed safety / special teamer Miles Killebrew and long snapper Christian Kuntz. Those things are not going to seem super flashy, obviously, but those are backbone pieces. Christian Kuntz is a physical guy, good blocker on the long snaps, consistent snapper. Miles Killebrew is one of the best special teamers in the entire NFL. Veteran guy, can play safety in a pinch. Good special teamer on both sides of the ball, blocks a lot of punts, has more blocked punts in the last 2 years than any other NFL player. So Killebrew and Kuntz are back, and those are very good signings. We did lose 2 big names in free agency as well. Let's get to those real quick. Mason Rudolph has signed I think it was a $3 million deal? I think it was a $3 million deal. He signed in Tennessee. So Mason Rudolph now is going to have a chance to start battling Will Levis. Levis was the first or second round pick last year. Levis came in, started off kind of good, didn't play very well since then. Mason Rudolph's got a legit chance to start. At the very least, he is the backup for a young, inexperienced player, so he's in a pretty good spot right now. I wish Mason a lot of luck in Tennessee. So obviously, once we signed Russell Wilson, he wasn't going to come back here and be the third stringer, so that made sense, and that was an obvious play. Also, Armon Watts left us. He went to go sign in New England. That's kind of an addition by subtraction. If you watch my video about kind of Steeler free agents to keep, I would have kept Armon Watts. I thought he was a good physical guy, shed some blocks, got some good tackles in the run game, and got a few pressures. But again, I kept saying, where are we going to find the space to bring a few more linemen in there and kind of get better? Where are we going to see improvements? Where are we going to see more consistency out of our D-line? And letting go of Watts may have given us that space. We did also, before this stuff started, re-sign Braden Fehoko, the guy we signed at the same time as Watts, who does very similar things, maybe even more well-rounded than Watts. So Fehoko is kind of going to be the new Watts here. So Watts went and got paid in New England. I wish him luck. I think he's a talented player, but I think we can do better. And I think Fehoko being here is a good move as well. And I want to see us bring in someone fresh on the D-line as well. So there we go so far. Pittsburgh has signed a new quarterback at a very good value who could be a starter. Patrick Queen, who could be a franchise inside linebacker who does it all. Punter Cameron Johnston for pretty good value. A swing 2/3 safety, Deshaun Elliott for decent value. So far, Pittsburgh is making moves. I do suspect with the trade for trading away Deontay Johnson. I suspect if we're going to make any more big moves, I'm looking at someone like Tyler Boyd. I don't think Hollywood Brown really fits, and I feel like a Mike Williams from from Los Angeles Chargers. I think he's got a good big body. I think he fits our system, but he's always hurt. So the most reliable and most obvious would be the hometown Tyler Boyd from Cincinnati. Take him out of the division, bring him back to his hometown. I would love for us to get Boyd, but we are competing with two other teams right now, the Jets and Kansas City, over his services. So if KC wants him and they got enough money, we'll see what happens there. I do expect Pittsburgh to go after a receiver, probably go after a corner at some point, and probably bring in one more offensive lineman before we even get to the draft. So I don't think Pittsburgh is done yet. We've still got like $14-15 million left in cap even after all these signings, and we've plugged some pretty good holes at pretty good value. So far, so good. What do you think of those signings? Who stands out to you? Who do you think was a good deal? Who do you think was a bad deal? Tell me in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to keep up with all my Pittsburgh Steelers news. I've got all those previous cuts and draft prospection videos. I've got a bunch more free agency as we go along coming up. My next video is going to be the Deontay Johnson trade, and I'll be covering any more moves at the same time that Pittsburgh does as free agency goes forward as we lean toward the draft. Go Steelers. I will see you soon.